Nate G 219 to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at you. I'll first hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. It is July 22nd, and I am now at my second home, Tennessee, down in Cumberland Mountain State Park, Tennessee. I love it here, guys. But sorry I haven't had a video in the last week prior to leaving home. Monday night we had, I think it was reported 15 tornadoes had ran through the area I live in. There was only the one life, and I am very deeply sorry for that loss of life. But considering the amount of damage, that was a very lucky, fortunate situation that there wasn't more loss. But a lot of damage. Had to get that power restored and went on an emergency call. And when you're working 16-hour days and you still got to get home, then got to get back to work, you know, you're left with about 4 hours of sleep, maybe, if you're lucky. Anyways, that's not what today's story is about. Today's story is to talk about some of the bull crap that happens and the bull crap that's covered up inside prisons. And on June 14th, I believe it was, inmate Wade, Joshua Wade. Now, I'm sorry it took me a month to bring you this story, a little more than a month, but because of guards being unwilling to expose truths, like Lieutenant Vckov, although she was in a different prison, knew exactly what happened. She wasn't willing to comment. This is a person I had considered a very, very good friend of mine for very, very long time. Since I was, 18 years old maybe. She was probably 16. We worked at the same place together, restaurant Hardee's. And it wasn't, it wasn't anything I wasn't going to tell anybody, and I told her that. I would never release her name or anything like that. She's in a complete different prison, many, many miles away. Just showed that her lack of concern for exposing the truth behind the wall, maybe helping inmates, helping positive things happen, lack of people losing their lives in any way, shape, or form, unless it's natural. When you go to prison, you're not supposed to lose your life. I don't care who you are. You're not supposed to have the ability to obtain things that are going to kill you. And unfortunately, as you know, prisons are filled with drugs. There's actually more drugs per capita in a prison than there are on the streets. It's like being in the projects, but every 3 out of 5 cells is a trap house. I mean, it's even more, everybody's selling something. You got every drug in there that you could ever think of is inside the prisons. Now, the only ones that really smoke weed are the ones that are serving life, and they just, they're gonna take them to a good time, take some of their good time. When you're serving life, or you've got 150 years that you have to serve before you even are considered eligible for parole, they don't care if they fail a drug test. They're gonna smoke a joint. That's what it is. They're not gonna resort to smoking that K2. They're gonna smoke the real stuff. They don't give a damn who catches them. The worst thing that they're gonna do is get moved to a different part of the prison, the hole. They're gonna get breakfast in bed for however long that they're in the hole for. And that's just the way it's looked at. Breakfast in bed for a year, all right. You get your own TV in your cell. It's really not that bad. Like, one of the guys had told me it's the best kept secret of prison was coming to segregation, because you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in bed. Now, there are some truths to that, and depending on how you choose to serve your time, you're safer in there. But on June 14th, Joshua Wade was found unresponsive in his cell. So his nickname in prison was Thumper. Now, I was there when he came in, and I don't recall anybody calling him Thumper, but I had come across him. I never had personally met the man. He was in prison for being a person that serially unalived people. He specifically, mostly women. And he had beat one of his cases, but then was found guilty of other cases, and then he struck a deal with the feds that he was the Alaskan serial killer. You know what? I'm not monetized. He was the Alaskan serial killer. If you look him up, Joshua Wade, the Alaskan serial killer. He unalived something like 5 people is what he was convicted of doing, and maybe a suspect in more. But I'm not here to talk about his cases. It's, first of all, a very weird situation that he found himself in an Indiana State Prison. Now, as many people have heard of, inmates can be transferred from one state to another under state offenses. Now, he struck a deal with the feds, and because he admitted to a certain thing, that he would be moved to federal custody. Now, Indiana State Prison is not a federal holding facility. It's not federal custody in any way, shape, or form. It's a state prison. It's where the state death row is. I mean, but that's where he was. He got moved there under some agreement, and I'm assuming it's because of who he was. And in the state of Indiana, in a state prison, ain't nobody gonna know who the heck Joshua Wade is unless they're watching some of the things that had come up on national television about him. Nobody's gonna know who it is. And even if they had seen it, the last person that you're gonna expect in an Indiana State Prison is a serial killer from Alaska. So this man it is what it is. He was in prison in Indiana, but why he was not in Terre Haute, which is Indiana's federal prison, that's where, I mean, there's many federal holding facilities. Like even my county jail has a whole section that has federal inmates, and it's actually maybe more than one section. There's, I want to say, 20 to 24 different sections in the jail. So you got misdemeanor, open dorms, you got a lot of different spots in the jail, and it's 3 wings. There are federal, on B wing, there is a couple, at least one, probably 2, if not more than that, units that are specifically federal inmates only. So now they used to house them with the state inmates. The fed inmates, I don't know exactly what happened. Hold on, time out. Time in. The fed inmates had been doing some complaining. I don't know exactly what happened, but they weren't being held under federal guidelines, like what the federal and state guidelines are as far as food, everything. Everything is a little bit different. State does what they want. The feds do what they want. But if it's a federal holding, you gotta hold up the federal guidelines. So that's why sorry about that little, but I had to explain a little bit about my county. And the fact that Joshua Wade was in a state prison is baffling to me. And it's baffling to a lot of other people, like my buddy Corey Allwood. What's up, Corey? I know you're watching, which I appreciate. You know I love that. You two real kins, and hey, I'm down here in Tennessee till Saturday. Should maybe link up, not too far apart from each other, honestly. I'm near Knoxville. Same with you, Josh, from Lockdown 23 and 1. I'd love to definitely hit up you and get together, because I want to go to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, and somebody that's been there before maybe give me a tour, because I want to do that self-tour as well. I saw you do it last year, and I was gonna do it. I was gonna beat you to the punch when I had a couple hundred subscribers, but hey, it is what it is. But that might be done this week. But I don't know if anybody else has ever heard of a federally convicted person to be moved to a state prison. Now, I know the feds get moved around an awful lot. You can be in whatever penitentiary, and next thing you know, you're on an airplane to the other side of the country, but it's to another federal prison. So Joshua Wade was found in an Indiana state prison, overdosed on heroin. He had died from a heroin overdose. So although whoever he was is who he was, I guess he had a pretty good reputation in prison. Like I said, I met him in 2014, and I didn't meet him. I came across him in 2014. I didn't know anything about him. I never did time with him. I was just at the same prison at the same time for a very brief amount of time. Like, he got moved there in 2014 at some point. I was out of that prison towards the end of 2015. So I never was in population with him. But that brings you to another question. What are these guards covering up? Are these guards obviously, the guards are bringing crap in. That's for one. Two, why try to cover up something that happened in another prison? Is it because you don't want to know or want to expose what's happening in your prison? Because, man, I know too many people, way too many people in prison, and it's bad everywhere. It's bad where Lieutenant Vckov runs. Lieutenant, like I said, and an important figure in the prison, had a chance to expose some stuff, to maybe jump on some stuff to help somebody out in the long run. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about those addicted to heroin, those that are losing their lives because of the abundance of heroin inside the prisons. Now, the worst epidemic is the K2. It just makes me wonder, are the lieutenants bringing it in? I knew a couple that definitely were. They definitely aren't now. But hell, I got a good friend that he had stopped doing tree trimming work and became a Westville Correctional Guard and got caught with a cell phone in it. No, he didn't get caught with a cell phone in his butt, but I like to start that joke. He got caught trafficking some stuff. And yeah, he made some money, but man, that ain't worth it. Maybe I get him to come on the show one day. Good friend of mine. So, but yeah, man, it's a horrible thing to go to prison and then, first of all, nobody give a damn about you in your own family, whatever. You've been disowned probably, especially if you've done some very heinous things. Second of all, even if your family does love and care about you, they live in Alaska. You're in Indiana. I mean, I haven't checked the mileage, but damn. It's not just a day trip. You'd have to take at least a week, unless you're flying, I mean. And even then, it's still going to be a crazy, crazy damn trip just for a prison visit. But, hopefully for him, he did have some visits, and hopefully for him that, maybe there was some people that did still love him. Unfortunately, I don't believe that. to be so, because whatever was wrong with him and caused him to do what he did, he was a monster in society. But I guess he was a pretty good dude in prison. And to be considered a solid dude regardless of what you had done. Now, ain't nobody that has touched a child ever been considered a solid dude unless it's unknown. But though, I mean, I'm not saying that there's a pass on women, but depending on the situation, and like if somebody's done something this heinous, there's something wrong up there. So it's not so much of a pass, but it's an acknowledgement that there's a lot more going on up there. Like my buddy Tex, Nathan Anderson, there's a whole lot more going on up in his head that's wrong than just the want or to take somebody's life. There's more than that going on. But that's something I'm working on, guys. I'm trying to work up some funding to get some footage from the inside of Westville Penitentiary. You guys should see this place. I wish I could get some video sent to me right now, but my boy JJ, he wants this known. He's willing to go live, everything, as long as the proper funding is put up. And I'm not gonna say exactly what this would be funding for, but I think you guys can use your imagination. The goal is about $1,500, and trying to work on figuring out how to start a GoFundMe page without attracting too much negative attention, because you can't say, hey, I want to start a GoFundMe page for exposing the inside of a prison in any illegal way. That's not how things work. So I don't know how I'm going to go about doing this, but if you want to help my boy JJ get some stories, let me know, and just hit that Cash App and ping "this is for JJ," and you have my word, 100% of the funding will go towards JJ's attempt to expose. And we're talking, this place ain't got no windows. It's got asbestos dangling from the ceilings. I mean, guards are killing people. Guards are killing people. I did a story about, it's been a minute since I've done that story. I should probably retell that one here soon. But, yeah, things are going on there. It's a real bad place to be. So, but never forget life's choices, guys. And please hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help fund this attempt to expose the inside of the prisons. And we're going to do what we can do to get a couple of my former affiliates to send me some footage from Pendleton, maybe that of a certain lieutenant on her I don't give a damn missions. So yeah, never forget life's choices, and you know, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.